Hey, what's up everyone? John here with Johnny Truckin' Outdoors. So I did tell you guys earlier that I'll probably do some hunting on my channel as well. And I'm going out deer hunting. And I've shot 2 8-point bucks in the past down in Oklahoma and 2 does in Oklahoma. I've never shot a deer in Michigan. I normally go out each season, but I didn't see a buck that was big enough. I am hunting on public land and there's a lot of pressure on public land. And so I've been hunting out here for the last 2 or 3 days and haven't seen any deer or whatever else. I'm using a Carbon Express crossbow and I'm going to go ahead and head into the brush. I've never shot a buck before in Michigan or doe thereof in Michigan. So I'm hoping that tonight is the night I can go shoot one. I certainly would like some meat in the freezer. I have a combo tag so I could get a big buck and a smaller buck, or 2 big bucks or 2 does, whatever it is. I'm hoping I can put some meat in the freezer and have a rack as well. So stay tuned, let's go. So just to give you guys some context, the 2 prior bucks I shot was this 8-point, which is a very nice rack, and this 8-point as well. So I've only shot 2 bucks prior, and those were very nice bucks that I shot down in Oklahoma. So here I am, and I'm walking out. I'm going to sit on the ground somewhere, and there was this narrow wood line that was running out between 2 grassy strips. So I walked down about a quarter of a mile and sat down and backed myself up to the brush and got in all the weeds, and hoping that some of that would help cover up any movements I make, because I have this nice GoPro on top of a crossbow, and I'm hoping that I can turn it on and if I get a shot at anything. So I sat there for about 2-3 hours, didn't see anything at all. So next thing you know, 5 does start trickling out. And then about a couple minutes later, a buck starts following them out. And right now we're at the end of rut season. So I did take a grunt call and grunted a couple times at the buck, once to start, and then a couple more times after a couple minutes, and he was not interested at all, since he had 5 does around him, and you know, he wasn't paying attention to me too well. They kept on walking across the field, and then they got in the tree line and kept on heading off. And the buck followed the does and got in the tree line, and I was like, well, I want to call this buck back. I was tempted to shoot the does, but the does were at about 65 yards, and I sighted my crossbow in for about 55 yards max, and still that's a pretty far shot for myself with my crossbow. So I took a estrus collar, which is the little Primos green cans that make a bleat from a doe, and I flipped it back and forth about 4 times. And a minute later, that buck came walking pretty steadily out of the woods and heading right to my direction. He probably walked about 30 yards away from me, and I'll roll the clip now of what happened next. up here in Michigan, and I have 2 tags, a combo tag, so I could shoot big buck, small buck, whatever I want to do. And I know he's small. He's a 4-point with 2 kickers, but I only have like a week to hunt, and I just wanted to drop at least 1 deer on the ground. So made a perfect shot on him, and he just dropped on the ground behind me. So I took the shot, and this deer ran about 40 yards, dropped on the ground, jumped back up, ran another probably 20 yards, and fell over. It was a very ethical, clean kill. I penetrated through both sides of the deer with this broadhead. It was a very clean, ethical kill on this deer, and he will be very delicious, and I'll have a lot of meat from him. So I was sitting right up there. That's why I love these big bucks. Hey, what's up everyone? So I just got this deer, and now I'm going to go ahead and drag him out of the field and get him processed. He's a little bit small, but I got a combo buck tag so I can get 2, and I'm sure glad I got the skunk out of the way, and hopefully my next one is a lot bigger, so stay tuned. Very healthy Michigan deer. It was probably about a 30-yard shot with my crossbow. It was a perfect shot right behind the shoulder, and he only ran 50-60 yards and dropped. It was pretty awesome. So we were filling out a harvest report tag here, and then we're going to tie it to the antlers of the buck. That should work. Well, that's my first ever Michigan deer, so never shot a Michigan deer before, and it's my smallest too. I got 2 other 8 points prior and a bunch of does, but I was super shaky and super nervous, and I was like, one came out, and I was like, he's a little small, but I got 2 tags, I might as well just shoot him, and I shot, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? When I just walked up to him, he was a lot smarter than what he looked. I think that's called buck shrinkage, but we're going to go take him off and have him processed. So thanks for staying tuned with this journey. It will certainly be tender and delicious. Well, it was pretty awesome getting this buck on film of me shooting it and everything else. So as always, stay outdoors, stay amazing. I have some awesome content coming your way. I do have a second buck tag, so I'm going to be going out deer hunting soon for another buck, and I hope I can shoot a true giant here in Michigan. Now that I've got one, I'm going to spend a lot more time in the woods, and hopefully I can find a much bigger buck. So as always, stay outdoors, stay amazing. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week on Friday. Take care.